I'm Jimmy Barkway, and this is the clearest explanation out there on what Hermes Agent is, what it does exactly, and why you should be using it right now. I put my Hermes Agent on a VPS, closed my laptop, and it's still answering my Telegram messages and picking the best AI models for every task on its own. But 99% of people running Hermes Agent close their laptop and it stops working, and it is no longer that 24/7 AI assistant that we're all aiming for. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put Hermes on a VPS and route it through OpenRouter so that it never goes down again. So you can run a self-improving AI agent, never rely on a single AI model again, and message your agent from your phone like a real teammate, even if you've never touched a VPS before. So if you haven't already, grab yourself a fresh cup of tea and let's dive straight in. Now, Hermes has been absolutely blowing up lately. So a few weeks ago, I decided to give it a shot and see how it ran, compare it to my OpenClaw instance. And I've been just going through pain with my OpenClaw ever since the most recent updates over the past few weeks. I don't know what OpenAI are doing since they acquired it, but every time a new update drops, my cron jobs stop working. I have to reset the gateway, run terminal command after terminal command. This is not what I set up an AI agent for. I didn't sign up to be troubleshooting every other day, and OpenClaw doesn't have a built-in memory function. Hermes has corrected this. It has built all of this in from scratch, and it even saves your API keys to your .env. What's great about Hermes is they are dropping updates really regularly, and they are not breaking my VPS at all. They just keep running, and it's happy days. Now, it's not just memory that allows Hermes to stand apart. These 6 things stand out as well. So it has a lean install by default. It's got things like voice and messaging all built in, and it doesn't take up a ton of room on your VPS just to run. By default, it fans out 3 sub-agents at the same time, so you can get work done quicker and to a better standard. Every update that comes in, it just pulls and then restarts, and it just works. With this OpenRouter method that I'm going to show you today, I'll show you how you can save some tokens by automatically switching between models and allowing Hermes to decide which model would be best for this. It has a multi-agent system built right into its core, and it has an enormous community. If you had a look at its GitHub stars, it's basically just gone straight up recently, which means a ton of push requests, lots of updates, a thriving community, and a ton of contributors. A big part of the reason that everybody is flooding to Hermes Agent is because it has the ability to learn on its own. It creates its own skills, has a fantastic memory system, and gets better over time the more you use it. But Hermes only gets smarter if it stays on all the time. If your laptop closes, Hermes shuts off. A VPS keeps running all the time. Don't be intimidated by this. It is dead easy. I'm going to show you step by step. Most people go straight to Claude Opus 4.6 or 4.7 as their default model for their agent, and they find that they're spending thousands per month in API costs. No bueno. We're going to be using OpenRouter Auto, which I love because it automatically switches between about 20 of the best models at the moment for the job. And it's a good mix between Claude Opus 4.6 is in there, but also a ton of other models like Gemini models. I'll show you that shortly. Each call gets routed by task and budgets. Cheaper models pick up routine subtasks, and then Opus picks up the heavy reasoning tasks where it really counts. And in the unlikely event that any one of them goes down, OpenRouter will just route to a different model, and you don't have to worry about Hermes going bust overnight. Every time you do a successful run of a new task, Hermes will automatically create that skill so that when it comes back to do that again, it's already got the skill and it already knows the best way to do this. Every time you talk to Hermes Agent, it's learning more about you, learning more about your business workflows, and how to be a better agent for you. The longer it runs, the better it'll be. And we're going to install System D on the VPS as well, which is just a fancy way of saying that if your VPS goes down, if anything happens at all, Hermes will automatically get itself running again without you having to do any reinstalls. Hermes is the brain that gets smarter on its own. Hosting VPS is the body that never goes to sleep, and OpenRouter Auto is the bloodstream that picks the right model every time on autopilot. So we're going to set this up on a Hostinger VPS. We're going to use OpenRouter to automatically pick the right model. We're going to use Firecrawl to do competitive research. Hermes is going to save all of this to a skill file so it can use it again and again. We can talk to our Hermes agent through Telegram, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Now, I've put together a Notion guide which covers everything that we're going to go through today, all of the commands, everything you need to get set up with Hermes and set up on Telegram, as well as a few other bits in there as well. And that'll be the second link down below. Now, first thing we're going to need is our Hostinger VPS. Thank you, Hostinger, for sponsoring this video. I use them to run OpenClaw. I now use them to run Hermes Agent. I like them because it's just a really smooth process. And they have a one-click install for either. So that first link down below, you can just select your VPS plan. KVM2 is going to be more than enough juice to run Hermes Agent. You can go all the way up to KVM8 with 32 gigs of RAM, but KVM2 will be plenty for Hermes. And you can always upgrade quite easily in the future. So just hit deploy. You can select your period here, but the longer you commit to, the bigger the savings. And then you can choose your server location and select that to be the closest one to where you are. I mean, that's UK. And you can use code JIMI, Jimmy, at checkout, and that's going to give you 10% off. One thing I love about Hostinger is that there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you do change your mind at any point, that's always there. And press continue. And just go through your login process. Once you've logged in, you can go to checkout and press a button or two to install Hermes. Mine's already done, so I've brought us straight to the Hostinger dashboard just here. You're going to want to set yourself a strong root password so that nobody can get into your VPS but you. And once you're in your Hostinger dashboard, so you can open the terminal just here, and you can see we are in the root of our terminal. So at this point, we are just copying and pasting commands nice and easy. So come to your Notion guide, and we're going to set up our environment. This is going to install any dependencies, anything we need to have Hermes Agent running smoothly. It's going to turn on network time so that cron jobs and TLS handshakes never drift away. And then it will install system packages that Hermes relies on, essentially. And you can just paste that in there. Now download everything we need. While that's working, we can set up our OpenRouter API key. OpenRouter is a unified interface for LLMs, basically just aggregates all of the API keys. So you can just use one API key and manage all of those models from one place. And if we explore the models and search for AutoRouter, you can see here all the different models available. Claude Opus 4.6, it's got Sonnet in there, it's got Haiku, it's got plenty of Gemini models, the OpenAI GPT models, Grok models, you name it. You don't need Claude Opus 4.6 or 4.7 for everything. If it's a bog standard everyday task, then a smaller, cheaper model is more than good enough. So we're going to need two things. Just copy this right here, and that's going to select OpenRouter Auto as the model for Hermes. And then next you want to come up here, Preferences, and then to API keys. Then select New Key, call it whatever you like. And you can set a credit limit for this. So if you only want to be spending X amount, let's say $50 on a monthly basis, and I would recommend you set an expiry just in case your API keys get leaked anywhere, and then just hit create. And you want to copy this API key and your job is done here. Once this is all done, you can come back to the Notion guide and copy this next command. This is going to install Hermes Agent and start the setup wizard. If you went through the one-click install, then this will just start the setup wizard and we can get started on building Hermes. Paste that in there. Now we can set up our Hermes Agent, and you can press enter or space at this point. Just go for a quick setup for now. And for this one, we're going to select OpenRouter. So we can use that OpenRouter Auto, switching between models automatically. Yeah, just throw your API key in there from OpenRouter. If it doesn't appear when you paste it, that's fine. That is how it's supposed to look. And we're going to scroll down until we get to enter a custom model name. And then from your openrouter.ai, just copy this. And that's exactly what you're pasting in. Paste it in. It should show up this time. Press enter. Now we can set up messaging from Telegram, Discord, iMessage, although iMessage doesn't have a native channel set up and you have to jump through a few more hoops to get that working. So I would recommend Telegram. That's what I always go for. It's free and easy to set up. Yep, select Telegram by pressing space to select and then enter. Now we're going to need to get our Telegram bot token, and we can do that by searching up here and just type in botfather. That's going to bring you here. And then you can type in /help, and that's going to show you all the commands you have available to you. And let's go for new bot, call it whatever you like. Now we're going to need a username for this. Now it needs to end in bot. It can't have any spaces, and it needs to be something that's not easy to figure out. Great. And once that's done, you can copy your bot token. This is the thing that we're going to paste into Hermes in a second. And before we do that, just go into your bot and press star and just say, hey,
This is necessary for Hermes to be able to see the Telegram chat. Don't skip out on that part. Then just copy your bot token by clicking right here and paste that in right there. And right here, you can add an extra layer of security. If you want to make sure that only you are using your Telegram bot and no one else has access to your Hermes agent, go back to Telegram. Where we typed in bot father, instead type in user info bot. And as soon as you open it, just press start and it's going to give you this user ID. Don't show this to anybody. Just paste it in here and you're golden. Now it's going to ask if you want to install the gateway as a systemd service. What this is going to do is allow it to run in the background and start every time your VPS boots. This is going to be helpful when your VPS crashes at some point, which is bound to happen, trust me. So I highly recommend you put Y for yes. And you can just select use a service for the next one and then start the service now and launch Hermes chat. Now we're actually in the Hermes agent. You've done all the setup you need to do for now to actually be able to talk to your new AI agent. Welcome to Hermes. Type your message or /help for commands. Okay, that's a lot of different commands, but you know you can do that anytime that you need to know what to do next. A few that I would like to point out to you now is /new. This starts a new session with a fresh session ID and history. Super important to manage your context window. So if you're talking to an agent, whether it's Claude, Gemini, Hermes, OpenClaw, doesn't matter. Every AI has a certain amount of context in that window, which means that it can only keep a certain amount of information in its frontal memory, if you like. So when you get to about 45 to 55% of your context window, roughly halfway, you will start to experience context rot. And what will start to happen is the agent starts to forget things. The quality of the output gets lower because it's overloaded with things in its memory that it needs to remember for every message that you send. And the bigger the context window gets, generally, the more tokens you are spending. So it's a good idea when you get to that halfway point to start a new session with /new. Next, if you want to stay within your current conversation and you don't want to lose the history, you don't want to start from scratch, you can use /compress. That'll manually compress the conversation context, basically summarizing the whole conversation. So you can continue without using up as much of the context window. Next, now this works for Claude Code and Hermes Agent, by the way, but the /btw, by the way, command, you can send this while Hermes Agent is still working on something for you. And what they'll do is they'll send a prompt to Hermes and that will run without interrupting the existing task. So you can ask, how are you doing? What progress have you made since you started on this? Keep me in the loop. Or you can just give it an update and guide it through where you want to go. /goal, set a standing goal Hermes works on across turns until achieved. Super useful for giving Hermes the kind of guidance to get to where you want to go. /usage, closing the name, show your token usage and rate limits for the current session. Very useful for seeing where you are in a context window and how much you're spending. /image, to attach a local image file for your next prompt. You can switch models anytime with /model. You can change providers anytime if you want to move away from OpenRouter. /reasoning, this is similar to /effort in Claude Code. And if you want to save some tokens, you're doing something that doesn't require a ton of reasoning, then you can just reduce that using that command. Reload skills, super important. If you are to add a new skill into your Hermes agent, you should run reload skills every time you do that. And same for if you remove a skill. This has to be done before Hermes can see that skill and use it. Now we want to finish connecting up our Telegram. And to do that, just press Control-C until you get back out to root and come to your new Telegram bot that we just made and send off a message, say, hey, and it will come back to you with a pairing code. So you want to copy this command that is given you right here, and we'll just paste that in there. Approved. User Jimmy Barkway on Telegram can now use the bots. They'll be recognized automatically on the next message. We're now getting a reply from Hermes Agent. Hey, Hermes, can you explain to me how your self-improving skills work over time? Okay, that was pretty quick. That reply took about 3 seconds. My self-improving capabilities aren't quite like conscious learning, but rather a result of how I utilize my tools and learn from my interactions over time. Here's how it works. I learn from your feedback. I build reusable procedures or skills. I recall past experiences through search. So in essence, a mix of my guidance, my experience, and my memory is all stored for Hermes Agent to use. Firecrawl powers AI agents with clean web data. It's basically the best scraper on the internet that I know of. It's the one that I love using. If you need images, logos, data, information of any flavor and quickly, as well as having search functionality with built-in AI agent tools, built-in deep research, you name it, then this is where to start. There'll be a link for this down below. So just select dashboard and you've got your API key right there. Difficult, right? So to actually get this installed so that Hermes Agent can actually use this, we first need to run a command which will show us all of the different API names. So we know what name to call it because it's really simple. Adding an API endpoint to Hermes Agent is always the same thing. Find the name. It's always the same 3 commands. Find a name, set the value, and restart the gateway. So this command is going to be in that Notion guide, and it's going to list the names of all of the API endpoints. You can see we've got things like Google API, Gemini, Llama. If you don't know what a Llama is, it is a great way to get free AI models. Super good if you want to save money to start off, but also if you have really sensitive data that enterprise level companies, even mid-market companies absolutely have no option, no choice when it comes to customer data. They cannot have that data go through Anthropic servers or Google servers. It's just non-negotiable, a compliance nightmare. So using free Llama models is the answer to that. I've got a cracking video on that, which you can check out right here. And you can see we've got the Firecrawl API key right there. So you can just copy that. And now you know what the name is. Part of the battle right there. Now we know the name, you can just paste in this next command and you swap out the name and the API key for the name of the API key and the actual API key. It is that simple. Before it, you just put Hermes space config space set space the rest. And we have set the Firecrawl API key. Next, we can verify that the key actually landed with this command, grep firecrawl. Boom. Okay, so it's in the env file. Success, and now we need to restart the gateway. How do we do that? Hermes, gateway, restart. Not crazy, right? So you can see the gateway is restarted. Your current task will be interrupted. Send any message after restart, and I'll try to resume where we left off. Hey Hermes, can you use the Firecrawl API key? Go out to Google's blog, scrape one of their articles, and tell me what's the latest news in Google AI. So it's doing a web search. It's gone to blog.google/technology/AI, and it's extracting a web page that is picked for me. Okay, what's the latest? Google is pushing hard into agentic AI. The big theme is the agentic era. Gemini Enterprise Agent platform for building and governing autonomous AI agents, more focused on multi-step business process automation. Google is framing AI less as chat and more as systems that can act. That is the theme of the past month, if you ask me, and ties pretty well with what Hermes Agent is doing. Gemma 4 is a major developer in the open model push. It is super powerful, definitely worth checking out. That video I mentioned a few moments ago goes into exactly this, and then some more bits about official sources and whatnot. Thanks, Hermes. Can you set up a cron job to run this every morning at 8 a.m. Cron job created. I've created a cron job to run your Google AI update scrape every morning at 8 a.m. Details about the cron job. These are essentially schedules where you can run prompts again and again on that set schedule. And it even gives you the command that you can run in your terminal to find out what crons you have on that list. Let's take a look. There is daily Google AI update scrape. And there we have it. You've set up Hermes Agent running Firecrawl. It can scrape any data from the internet that you need. You've learned how to use cron jobs. You've got a discount on Hostinger, 10% off when you use code Jimmy, Jimi. And they even have a 30-day refund policy. No questions asked. Hope you got some serious value out of this video. Now YouTube is going to tell you what video to watch next.